Good morning. Today is the 19th of the 11th 2024 and I'm going to go through my trading plan for today. But as always, before we start, let's look to see what news could move the market. We've had building permits come in at 8:30 and we've had a bit of a negative decline from that point. Housing starts, and we'll go into that in a second. And then other news today, not much, nothing today really. And earnings, I think we've got NVIDIA tomorrow evening, so the market could, saying that, could be in a bit of a funny state until then, but potentially we are seeing a bit of a move now. Look at this lovely breakdown of that trend line, pull back and retest into that area. So on my screen we're looking at the 1 hour time frame for the ES, which is the S&P 500 E-mini futures, and how about that for a level 58.55, what we had in from yesterday, and look where we bounced today in the pre-market, smack bang on that level. So that was basically the level I was watching. In fact, I did my pre-market, I'm just putting in my levels in the pre-market now, and the break and retest of pre-market low is kind of gone now. I was watching 58.86, so I was just putting in this area here, and we didn't have a retest at all, it just broke through it. So potentially, if we can get back up into this yesterday's low area, we can watch that area for rejection. It was also 5900 as well, so this region here I quite like for the rejection, and that was this level here. I was watching 58.86 on my watch list. I've not filled in the rest of my plan yet. Let's just go back to the chart. The other area I'm watching as well is the rejection at 6,000, and again that's not 6,000 because that's up here. I'm watching this region for the rejection. I think in my notes I put keep an eye on, I said 6,000 reject, but we're watching 5980, 5989, 6,000 area. So that's the area I quite like for the rejection. But when I wrote that, we was about here, and we were like midway between the two main areas I'm watching for. So I'm watching basically that region there, and I'm watching this region down here for the bounce, 5800, 5820. I'm also watching this 58.55 as well, and that's where we've already bounced, so I'll keep an eye on that. So let's just zoom out a bit so we can get a better general picture of where we are. And then also let's look at the daily as well, because I like starting from the daily and just looking at the volume. So you can see on the daily we've had decline in volume, we had increase in volume on the sell-off, so increase in volume, and then we had this pullback day. It's green day, is more of an inside day, and that was on reduced volume, and now obviously we've just broken down the low of that. And if we were to keep moving down, if we find a daily bounce area, we've got this region to keep an eye on, which is 5800 down to 5830 area. It's also where the 50 moving average is coming into play, and basically while we're above the 50 we can say that we're in an uptrend, which is that red line, and if we get below the 50 then we can start thinking we're in a downtrend, and then the 50 will curve over and we will be below the 50 then. So I like using the 50, that's kind of it's a quick indication to see which way the trend's going. Even though we've had these pullbacks, we're still in a daily uptrend, and look at that for a level on the daily as well. So let's just draw it in properly with the line. Maybe there, you could even draw in that one, this area there, depends which one you want to connect up. So we can keep an eye on this region here. 5800 is an area we're watching as well for the bounce. That's a big area of confidence there. As you can see, tops of pivots, bottoms of pivots. We broke through it, came back up, retested that area a couple of times, and then we broke through. Excuse me. But we've yet to come back to retest 5800, and that's on the daily. So I think that's probably our next level of interest down below. We've kept an eye on this level, which is 5900, and you can see we held it, and then we lost it again. Let's go back to the hourly and just reconfirm the levels. So look at that level was spot on. I don't really play the pre-market, but I would have been, if that was during the market open hours, I would have been, probably would have got in with a starting position, and then I would try and find an ad. And obviously where I find that is literally looking at volume and areas of confluence. So right, so just to recap, there's a couple of areas I'm watching for today. We've got this higher risk area. There's a little area of confluence there. And it's 59.50, and the reason I say it's low, higher risk is because there's no volume over here. So this is more, if we do get back up into this region, we can watch this region for a rejection. If we get into this area, however, this is a higher probability area, and this is the 59.80 to 6,000 level. I like it also because we've got lots of volume up in that area as well, so it's going to be harder to get through, hence the rejection will be a good place to reject. We can ignore this trend line, it's not really in play, even though you could link up the pivots, maybe there. You know, potentially if we do come back up into that area, we could keep an eye on that trend line as well, but I'm not really watching that, that's just because I've not removed it. So 59.80 to 6,000, that's my second favourite. We're coming up to the break and retest area as well. This is one of my favourites for today as well. So I'm watching 5900, this region basically where we are now for the rejection. We've broken through as a break and retest, but it's difficult because obviously we've got this trend line which we've broken, and the pre-market high at the time was there, and that's why I quite like the break and retest of pre-market high. But now I'm not so sure, so I'll keep an eye on that. It was my favourite position, but we lost in the pre-market. And then obviously we had this bounce which is already gone, and then we've got this bounce area here, and I like this area because we've got bottom pivot, bottom pivots, top pivots, and then we kind of held there for a bit, and then we had the big push up. So let's keep an eye, and it's 5800 as a psychological number as well, so 5800 for the bounce, and we saw that on the daily. So they're the three areas I'm really watching now. And then just come to a plan with this one. If we can get back up to yesterday's low, I'll probably look for a rejection up in this area, and only in that area. I don't really want to get it where it is right now. Really want to see a bigger pullback, 50%, 60% or something, and then look for the rejection. And that'd be coming up to a level I was watching as well. Big area of volume as well in that area. Tops of pivots, bottoms of these pivots here, and then we kind of just hovered in that area before we lost it. So that's the area I'm watching, 5900, psychological number as well. Let's go on to SPY next. Let's just open up my YouTube, make sure it's all working okay. Volumes are, yep, just double checking. Sometimes I don't check and I don't have any volume. Okay, so looking at SPY, similar areas to ES. I quite like this nice big area of confidence. Look at this massive volume spike in that area as well. We've got tops of candles, bottoms of pivots, bottoms, tops, bottoms, and then we broke through. So I do quite like the fact if we can get back down to 578, maybe down to 575, that's this region here for a bounce. Preferably, I prefer this area down here because there's more bigger moves there, so a bigger area of demand, 576. But I do quite like this area because there's quite a big area of confluence as well, where we've got lots of touches, and we've got the volume just there as well. So two levels really. We can watch 578 for a bounce, or we can watch 576 for the bounce. And then for a break and retest, again you could potentially say 585, yesterday's low. I don't know if you can see this, we've got potentially a left shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder today, so we can watch for the break and retest. Neckline's at a slight angle, so probably yesterday's low will be the retest area, so keep an eye on that. If we have strong buy-in and we push through pre-market high, and yesterday's high, quite like the break and retest long as well, and then we can retest that 594 to 596 area for a potential rejection again. SPX, pretty much same levels that we've had before. Nothing's really changed. Notice how gap down into a level holding that level there as well. So we're going to be opening up down here somewhere, I believe. So let's watch for the bounce. 5700 is a psychological number, so keep an eye on that area. So 5700 for the bounce, and then we've got 59, 6000. Obviously with rejection, we're quite far from there. And then in between we've got 58. Where's 58? 5800. We can watch this area as well. And bottom of this gap fill, this area for the bounce, and then 59, which is around this area as well for the rejection. So a few areas, few levels. I may just get rid of some of these levels, but I'll keep them there for now. These are just areas to watch. So I don't play SPX directly, but I do take the long if I see SPX is coming into an area. So if for example we're going to be opening up down here and I'm looking for a long, then I'm not going to take a long if we're below this area, say we're down here, because we're coming long into an area of confluence, into a level. And likewise, if I'm looking for a short, say up here on ES, I want to make sure that SPX is also below that level as well for a short. Because if I'm shorting ES and SPX is up here, then it's only going to come, I'll just draw the line, and it's only going to come down into that area and act as a bounce area or as a area of demand or support. So that's why I keep an eye on SPX. NQ. So I just see a nice comment from Charles. Good morning. Hopefully you had a good day yesterday trading. Hope you have a good day today as well. So we're looking at NQ. I've not looked at this chart yet today. There was a bit of a trend line here. Don't know how that lines up. Let's just zoom out a bit. You know, we've got this previous trend line. Let's just make a change there because it's now not valid. Move it to there. Okay, so that's got more touches now. I know we've got these two touches down here. We're close to that one, you know, it's within the zone. And we've got all these touches up here and these touches here. So that's a better trend line. And then we can also watch a similar move. We're coming into this rejection area. Yesterday's low. This is a higher risk because it's near to the market open as well. So if we come back up into this region, we can watch it for the rejection. If we drew in the trend line, so we've got that breaker trend line there. Yeah, it's not very good. No, it's too steep to really do a trend line as such. But we've got this this region to watch for the rejection as well. It's a big area of, it was demand, now it's overhead support, not overhead supply. So if we come back up into this region, we can watch for the rejection back down. If we hold above it, come back retest, we can watch pre-market high, yesterday's a high for a potential break and retest long. And then high risk, the retest of this trend line area, and yesterday's low short, same as ES, and that's high risk, only because we're so close to where we are. QQQ. In fact, I made the adjustment to this trend line already. So you can see we're now running along this trend line, but there's more touches here. There's more touches here as well. And was that a fake breakdown, or are we going to reject and continue to move down? Just keep an eye on this. Let's watch the break and retest of pre-market low. Short into this region, 486. And potentially we can watch this area, 497, 30 area. Where we are right now is a high risk, not one I'd probably take. Break and retest of this trend line. So we've broken it, come back to retest. I will double check the ES one. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of this. I don't mind a break and retest of pre-market high, pre-market low, but we're coming back into a trend line. Right, the trend line is probably there. So we can watch 498, and also we've got 500 as a psychological number as well. So just keep an eye on this 500 area for potential reject. It's an area of confluence, got a bit of volume coming in that area as well. So potentially that's another rejection area. And then bounce wise, if we lose pre-market low, and again I'll be looking for a break and retest pre-market low, we've got the point of control for this region is right down at 494 to 495 area. Big area of confluence, tops candles, bottoms, tops, bottoms, and then area of confluence, and it's a big area of demand as well. Last time we were there, we saw this big move up, so potentially we might see a bit of a bounce there. We've not tested it since. So let's keep an eye on 494. In fact, what I will do is put in an alert. If you use TradingView, you hold Control and Alt down. Instead of you having to put the alert in over here, you can put the alert in anywhere you want on the chart. You see the little plus icon. So I'm pressing Control and Alt now. That icon shows, and you just click, and you can put the alert in. Makes it a lot easier. Crude oil had a nice run up yesterday. Right back into this area. Look at that. Yesterday's high. So the only rejection area I've got already an alert at 70, so keep an eye on that area for potential reject. Last time we was up there, we pushed up and then big move down, so it's big areas of supply. And if we can't put in a new high and we're holding pre-market low and we're staying below yesterday's low, potentially we can watch for rejection. If we break above it, we watch for a break and retest long. And then bounce wise, this region here is already marked up from a few days ago, 67.13, 67, we can watch this area for a bounce. Gold, which is GQ, come right down to our trend line. We're in a bit of a downtrend, but we have broken the downtrend there. And again, I like these patterns. It came back, retested it, didn't put in a new low, broke it, came back, retested it, and then try and find a nice entry there or a breakout over here. And if you missed that, look what happened, came back up, retested. So let's just zoom in a bit more so you can see that. Let's draw the trend line in again. This is a good pattern, one of my favourites as well. So we put in a low. Here's the early signs. We've got volume coming in. We can't put any more new lows in. It's struggling, so it's just staying along there. So it's holding that level on the trend line as well. And then we break the current trend, and then we come back and retest that trend. We retest the tops of these candles there, and then for the long. So the higher risk play would be taking that one, and then the higher probability play would be once we cleared those pivots and we come back and retested. That's the area there to get in. I didn't take any of this, unfortunately I missed it. I was focused on ES and NQ, but I do need to get better with my alerts. When I get alerted to a position, I need to start watching it more, because obviously watching ES and NQ is great. I learn how they work. I know their personalities, but I miss out on a lot of other trades which I'm watching. I'm watching quite a few in my basket. Probably was that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 8 stocks. I watch all the ones basically on this list. So this is my basket. So rather than watching hundreds and hundreds of stocks, I've just narrowed it down to these few, which means I can focus on quality plays. And if ES or SPY is going sideways one day, I can look at NQ or CL or gold. So I think that's a good way of trading, because then you're focused then, rather than flicking between lots of different stocks. RTY, this is the Russell 2000. Again, unlike gold, it's not broken the downtrend. In fact, it's still in a downtrend. So if we come back down into this region, I quite like the rejection. Yesterday's low, 23.10. Zoom in a bit. It's also an area confluence as well. You can see tops of these pivots here. We came back down. Notice how good these levels are. 23.05, literally down almost to the penny, so it's not far off. We've broken it, we've come back up and retested it. So that's kind of the same play we're watching on ES and SPY right now, whereas ES and SPY are just on their way back up to the pre-market low level. I mean to that retest level, whereas this has already done it, so it's a little bit ahead. Point of control is down here as well. You can see it's big area of confluence as well. So this is why it's a good area to watch for a bounce. So let's keep an eye on. I don't need so many lines, I don't think now. So let's get rid of Now keep them there. So what I'm looking at, I'm just looking for the most touches of pivots, and that's, or the bodies of candles, not the tails. Probably get rid of that one. I don't like having too many lines. There's just, too many false signals sometimes where you might come down, touch it, push up, and break down. So we can watch this region 2240 to 2253. That's a big area of volume coming in as well, so that's a point of control. And watch this area for a bounce, this region here. And then if we can get above, I'm going to say yes, it's high rather than pre-market high. Watch for a break and retest along. It's high risk if you use pre-market high, break and retest along, only because we want to see it break out over that pivot. And that's an area of confidence as well. YM, we're on track, we're still at 6 minutes before the market opens. Let's draw the trend line. That trend line goes that way. Let's do the most recent pivots. And keep an eye on that one. If we move back up into yesterday's low area, we can watch that potential area for a rejection. I think that's my favourite play on this one at the moment. This is the Dow Jones. So let's keep an eye on 43,435 for the rejection down. And obviously, if we break that, then potentially we could look for the break and retest of pre-market high. That's the only play. Bounce wise, we could watch that level because we've got an area of confidence. If we go back further, it's better confidence, but this is where the point of control is over the most recent weeks. So let's keep an eye on 42,631 for the bounce as well, that area there. And then that's it. Just look at Bitcoin and have a look at cumulative delta divergence. It's not doing much anyway. So Bitcoin yet to put a new all-time high in since we hit the mid or 93, almost $94,000 there. So we're still looking bullish, still looking strong, and all we're doing is just eating time off the clock whilst we're waiting for the 200 moving average to slowly catch back up a bit. I imagine in the next day or two we're going to see something happen. So once the moving average is there, we're probably going to see another move up, or we see it break down, push down. But let's see what happens when that over the next few days. 200 moving average is this purple line, and you can see it's been quite far away, far away, far away, and it's just starting to come in now. So let's keep an eye on what happens when it gets there. Let's go to the daily. So I prefer daily on Bitcoin. Volume wise, look at this, we've got a lot of volume coming in. Let's just draw that in over these few days, just there. And then volumes lessening a bit, so maybe we're just, like I said, we're just relaxing a bit now before we take the big move up or another move up. And if we do take that move up, then we've obviously got this 100k target. Are we going to get there? Who knows? But we're not far off it if you think about it. We've had this big move, now we're having a resting period, and then we can see another big move up. And think of that. I've just seen your comment, Charles. Hi Paul, you talk about pre-market levels a lot. How much do you think pre-market actions on non-news days affect the regular hours once the market opens? It's a good question. In fact, one thing I should do is go and backtest that. Backtest the breaks and retest of pre-market high and low on non-news day. I backtest and I keep a note of all the news days because I'm trying to come up with a strategy what lets me trade the news, which I've got a vague idea. Once I've properly back tested it and then start putting it for real, I'll talk about it more on these videos, and that'll be, maybe I can do an earlier video instead of 2 PM here in the UK or 9 AM, do one at 8:30 when the news comes out, because I'm looking to start playing that volatility a bit. We didn't have much news yesterday, and what happened, I'll have a look. But anyway, this is Bitcoin, so I think we're waiting for something to happen here, and there's no play for me at the moment unless we pull right down. We've got a few topping tails as well, like a big volume. Normally get out at the end of a up run, but then we had a big volume spike there as well. It could be starting volume, maybe this is ending volume, but we don't know until it actually ends. So let's go back to ES. Let's look at the pre-market and go into the hourly. Let's go into the 15-minute. So yesterday, in fact, pre-market break and retest would have worked yesterday, because I remember I missed it because I was focused on other things. But from memory, there was a 2-minute break and retest of pre-market high, and that would have been this level here, and that would have been a good run up. Pre-market low on the previous day, it would have been a break and retest short. 9 o'clock. Yeah, probably no. I can't remember what it looked like. Whether it just sold right off. So this is the pre-market levels, and my pre-markets I basically start from 3 AM, so I don't take in anything from midnight. 3 AM, and I've got an indicator on here, as you can see, which I've written. In fact, I've adapted it from somebody else's, which only starts at 3 AM. So my pre-market high and low starts. Here we go. That's yesterday's high and low. So you can see today it only starts from 3 AM. If we go back to 1:30, this one here, it doesn't ignores that. So I'm looking at that pre-market high, and I'm looking at quite low down this pre-market low, and we're right in between the two at the moment. So it's not quite sure whether we're going to be. Let's have a look. Coming into a rejection area now. I'll say I really want it up here at 5900, that area. Question again on non-news days. I'll backtest it. In my trade log, I do make a note of news days as well. In my TradeZilla, I think I've closed it. I didn't mean to close it. Hang on, I'll just show you. I know the market's open now as well. Bring it across. So this is, or I should do, should I say, this is my trades from yesterday. In fact, yesterday was a bad day for me because I didn't do my pre-market list. I was a bit rushed. So I think I said I ate some chilies, some really hot ones. I kind of cooked some chili sauce, Carolina Reaper, and I was feeling a bit woozy. But I normally put in my pre-market watch list. I always do that with a screenshot. And then what I should do, and I don't do enough, I'm just trying to find, open up the trades for this day. Isn't that one? No. Somewhere I can just open up what trades I made. Is it? I just want to show you where I log. So let's go into Friday, because that's the last day I actually journaled properly. And then Friday. View in notebook, is that what I'm trying to do? Let's go back. I'm sorry about this. So let's go back for Friday. I normally go in this way. Here we go, that's what I was looking for. So, and then that's how I normally go in, that way. And then in my journal, I put in what news events they are. I've not done it recently, so that when I go back and back test, if I do a break and retest of pre-market high, here we go, break and retest of pre-market low, which was a great. Look at that. That's a great trade. That was. I took my start position, then I took my second position. I had my stop loss. I think it was just above there, around in that area. Didn't quite get to my stop, and then I sold out down here at well below. I didn't get anywhere near 3R. Here you go, 1.5 hour. I think I gained out of it. I had things to do Friday, so I didn't want to be sitting there out and about looking at my phone to find out whether. So I just got out there, but it would have hit 5R. I think it would have gone well and truly to, I looked for 3R and 5R, and I think it got to 7R on the day, so it would have been a great trade had I been sitting in front of it. But I need to go through now and see what news that wasn't on Friday, if any, and that's all. And I just need to back test more. So hopefully that makes sense. And sorry, it's a bit of a long explanation and distracting over when the market opens as well. Right, I'm off. I'm going to watch the market for a bit and watch for this retest area, 5900. If not, it's a low risk, it's a higher risk one, so I won't be putting in a full amount for that one. Okay, thank you for watching, and I will be back tomorrow.